One. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of GG Gaming Live.
Yes.
This is episode 68. Today is Monday, March 28th. I'm Andrew, and with me I have
Alpha
Stoutland.
Hey, guys.
So, we missed last week despite saying that we were going to be coming back, trying to do weekly. Alpha, would you like to explain how you died and came back?
It's weird, man, because, and I told Drew this already, and my laptop's on my lap, so if I shift around a little bit, I apologize, but it's weird because if anybody who's in North Carolina, you know, we have bipolar weather this time of year, especially like late winter, early spring. It is just up and down, highs and lows, temperatures, and now pollen's coming out. Thankfully, it rains, so some of that got washed away. But I never get allergies from pollen, man. But last week,
really?
It killed me. It might. I might get a little bit once in a while, but this is the hardest I think my allergies have ever hit me. And I had a groggy voice, and my nose was all stopped up, and I didn't feel like I was gonna be able to record, and I didn't really feel much like recording. Like I said, I was congested, and my voice was kind of shot, so I wasn't really up to recording. But thankfully, he understood, and hopefully, you guys understand. It's just stuff happens sometimes, and we tried to do yesterday or sometime this weekend, but I actually took a zoo trip. Might talk about that in a little bit, but we finally got to record tonight. So, yeah, allergies, stuff like that happens, so it's all right. But
also, for anybody because there's nobody in the chat really, but for anybody listening in post, whoever watched the previous episode, if it sounded like I kept talking over Alpha and then there were long, awkward pauses, that's because there was lag. And I realized it when I was watching it afterwards, putting in the timestamps. I'm like, why am I so obnoxious cutting him off? And I'm like, oh, there's lag. So we tried beforehand to sync it up, and I'm hoping that it's synced up right now. If you see me checking my phone, it's because I'm checking that.
Same checking.
And I don't want to put the audio on because I don't want it to come through the mic during the show. But if you can somehow check your audio too to make it sound like we're not talking over each other. This is a learning process. We haven't been doing this like most podcasters in terms of live. So if you see us like checking our phone and checking stuff, that's why. Because we don't have a giant chat to tell us, oh, you're out of sync. So like we have to kind of go back and forth and look on our own. Which another reason I was looking at my phone a lot last time was because of that. I was checking stuff, and I was also trying to put the link out there to some places, some Discord channels and stuff. So that's why I wasn't being rude and ignoring you. I was listening to what you were saying, and I wasn't cutting you off. There was lag. So I'm hoping that this one goes better. It's 2 weeks instead of 1 week, but you know what? Quality over quantity, right?
Yep.
If we did it last week, maybe I should have sounded like Squidward.
Yep. Squidward. Mr. Squidward.
I'm Squidward. He's Squidward.
Yep.
We're
Meow.
So, because of the trying to set things up, and we started late also because I had a power outage and it just came on last minute. We were actually planning to do this tomorrow, and then we're talking. I was like, I guess we're not doing it tonight. And then the power went back on.
Power's back on.
So yeah. Hopefully we could get into a schedule, and that will help when the technical stuff is down pat, or at least better. And I feel like it's better today than it was 2 weeks ago, or in the last episode. I learned a couple of tricks with OBS, and which is like common in most live podcasts, but I didn't know how to do it. So I knew how to now I know how to crop like the video and do stuff with the audio and switch between scenes, stuff I didn't really know how to do. For anyone who, if you don't know, then that's fine. But if you do know, what I was doing previously to capture audio was using an multi-audio output, I think it was called. And so I was grabbing the audio from my desktop, and then I had some kind of strange setting that I had previously set up where it was grabbing the audio twice, and then I had multiple outputs in the different scenes, and it was a giant mess. And then shout out to I don't know what he likes to go by, Kyle or Cal JCRB Kraus, from the Bumblecast. I was talking to him about it because he does the live shows with Ian Flynn, who we've had as a guest once before. I don't think you were on at the time, but we had
that was you
Nint
and
on.
Nint Ice. Yep.
Yeah. So I reached out to him, asking him how he did live stuff, and he used OBS. So I was asking him some questions, and again, shout out to him for helping me figure out some stuff. So awesome. I'm hoping it's much better now. So because we started late, and because just we don't want to go as long as we used to do, sometimes 2-3 hours, and there was a lot of post editing, and that cut into that's partially why it was hard to keep up, because we were very busy to begin with. Mm-hmm. So I think we could try to do smaller bursts, and we'll see if it catches on, and if we have time to do another episode during the week, maybe with if one of us can't join, another person can join. Mm-hmm. We'll do a thing one at a time if people are interested in hopping in and checking things out. And so I guess we'll just dive right into the usual. Mm-hmm. Alpha, what have you been up to?
Well, like I said, I'm sorry.
No, the past 2 weeks.
Okay.
What have you been up to?
Like I said, had an allergy issue come up, but all over that now, thankfully. And Saturday, and of course, gaming wise, before I get into the story, I've still just been playing Legends Arceus. I actually did find 2 shinies over the weekend, both dupes, sadly, Shiny Haunter and Shiny Staravia. I already have a Staraptor and a Haunter, but now I was able to evolve this one into a Gengar, so that was cool. But yeah, now I have Shiny Haunter and Gengar and Staraptor and Staravia. Okay. So that was pretty cool. And so did that over the weekend, but also over the weekend, we went to Wakati Zoological Park over in Myrtle Beach. We took our church youth down there, and it was a smaller group, but man, I have not been to the zoo in years, and that place was so cool. They had it's actually a couple's private collection of like exotic and domestic animals that they open to the public. So they've got stuff like cows, pigs, chickens, ducks, geese, stuff like that. But then they've also got like zebus and zebras and bison and deer.
What's a zebu?
And, well, those who've watched VeggieTales growing up will know the song Zebu. It's some kind of cattle. And I think it's African. It's African, Asian, something like that. But it's got these huge...
Is it related to the weeaboo? Is it related
weeaboo?
To the weeaboo?
No, I think they're distant cousins. But it's got these long, straight horns. And it looks really cool. And honestly, it's kind of intimidating. But this bull just came up to... Because a lot of the pens were for like the sheep and the goats and the stuff like that. And there was a potbelly pig you could pet. Most of the enclosures for the domestic animals were low enough to where kids and adults could go and pet the animals or feed them. You actually could buy feed for them. Well, the zebus were the same way, and there comes this big bull zebu with his like 6-foot horn span, and he just moseys on up and lets us rub his head and scratch his back and stuff. He just sat there and let us scratch his back and stuff, and he turned his head and almost hit us with his horns and stuff. I was surprised. I was like, he's like super chill. So, and I know most of them, and it was funny because whenever the goats and the sheep would come up, some of the goats, when they realized you didn't have food, to go and walk away. They'd spit and just walk away. So it's funny because every time you walk up to the pen, they're like, "You got food? You got food? You don't have food," and just walk away. So, but it was fun.
They know.
And I'm an animal lover. I've grown up loving animals. Maybe that's part of the reason I'm such a massive Pokemon fan, is because there's so many based on animals that I love. But it really was just cool to go back to a zoo. And it really, I mean, if there's a little bit of rundownness, they do have some kind of defunct enclosures and fences and stuff. There was one, the whole gate was crushed because a tree fell on it. They just moved the animals to another enclosure. But besides that, it's a really cool place. There was like 20 to 30 peacocks just roaming around and just going randomly. It was so cool. It was so cool. And if you're in the Myrtle Beach, North Carolina, South Carolina area, highly recommend it. Pretty good group rates. It's like $5 for a group. But yeah, very, very cool trip. I definitely want to go back as a family. But yeah, that's what I've been up to lately. Not as much gaming stuff besides Legends Arceus, but got to see some cool aminals this week, so that was cool.
Nice. I'm just checking back and forth. Everything seems to be okay.
Yes.
Nobody watching, but that's okay. People will watch it.
You can watch it later. It's all good.
Yeah. And it's kind of our fault for not having a schedule.
Yeah. Once we get back into the swing of things, I'm sure we'll get
hopefully
an audience back.
Yeah, I noticed when we first started doing live about a year ago, no one was joining at first, and then I think after a few episodes, there was
Mm-hmm.
maybe like a couple of people started joining, and then my computer kept crapping out, and we had to go back to post, and then things kept getting delayed because we all kept getting busy, and so I like to think that things will pick up again.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see. Anyway, so what I've been up to is I've been playing more Horizon Forbidden West, and it is so good. I just got no spoilers. I just got all of the, I guess, gears, what you would call them, which helps you, like, you get, basically you get an item to help you explore better.
Okay.
Like, the equivalent would be in Zelda, like, oh, I unlocked the hook shot, so now I can reach over there that I couldn't reach before, or something like that. You know, you get an item that you can help explore. So now that I got what I think is all of them, because there's an inventory and all the slots are taken up, I would think that thank you. I would think I got them all, and I just started exploring places because I wasn't exploring before because I was thinking, oh, I don't have all the gears, so I'm gonna keep, I'm gonna miss stuff. So I'll just come back to exploring later. So now that I think I got all those gears, I'm going back exploring, and I'm like, oh my god, there's too much, too much to explore. I think out of the entire map, I just finished up exploring half of it. And I'm about 50-something hours in. So
you sound like my coworker playing Elden Ring. He said, "Man, I put like 50 hours in, and I'm like barely through the game." So
Elden Ring?
Yeah, he said he's had fun with it. He's actually just started the new game plus, so
I really want to play Elden Ring too. Because I really love the Souls games. I got into them with Demon Souls, which I'm sure if anybody who's played them as they came out probably also got into with Demon Souls on the PS3, I believe. A friend of mine got me into it, played it, loved it. It was so hard, but I managed. Then Dark Souls came out, super hyped for that, beat that. Never finished the DLC because at the time I lost my data and I was like, I had already played it. I was on New Game Plus 7 and I platinumed it. And then the DLC came out and I'm like, I guess I'll play the DLC. And because I was on New Game Plus 7, the way it worked, which it doesn't work this way on the Switch, and I don't know about the other consoles remasters, but on the original one on the PS3, the way it worked was they matched you with people to play with based on your level, I think. Unless I'm mixing it up with Demon Souls, but I think it was Dark Souls. And the end result meant that because I was so over-leveled, I was having so much trouble matching with people who were playing the DLC for the first time. On like a lower difficulty. So I had to pretty much go through the DLC solo on like New Game Plus 7, and it was hard. And I got up to Artorias, and I kept doing well enough to almost beat him, and then at one point I think I almost beat him, and then I didn't, and I was just getting frustrated. I'm like, I'll come back to it, and I think I got caught up in playing another game, and then I lost all my data.
Dang, dude.
So I was like, I guess I'm not playing this anytime soon. So
Artorias is the Praise the Sun guy, right?
No, that's Solaire.
Solaire, that's right. Okay, I've heard Artorias' name before. I didn't know if that was him or not. That is Solaire.
I didn't realize until recently Artorias, I think, is a Japanese way of saying Arthur. And I think I learned that from it could have been two things. One, I think I heard from what's that series called? Fate Stay Night or Fate Stay series. The character Artoria is like Arthur. So because she's supposed to, it's based on the legend of King Arthur. That character, she came from that era, and so it's like Artorias or Artoria Arthur. I'm like, oh wait, Artoria. And then I think for the Smash DLC when Hero came out, I think the third one, the third Hero from 3 was called Artoria or something like that. I could be wrong. I thought I remember hearing that somewhere. Unless it wasn't for Smash, but it was maybe in a spin-off where he was named Artoria.
It might have been a spin-off because he's Erdrick in Smash. I think
No,
No.
Sakurai gave a name for each of the three, and I think
Solo was
each of the
4.
four. I mean, and
8 was 8.
3 he named. Oh God, I want to look this up now.
That's right. It wasn't Erdrick. It was what was it? It was some weird, funky name.
Arturia.
Altaria.
Yeah, whatever. I'm not gonna sit
Cloudbird.
here and look it up. But anyway, I played on the Switch, and I got up to the DLC. I beat Artorias. I beat the big bad of the DLC, and then I realized I forgot an area. There's one other boss, and I just forgot about it. So I'm like, I got to go back and do that. And then when I went there, I died right away because it's a dragon and he's flying,
and it's Dark Souls.
You can't actually hit him. So you have to find a way to get him on the ground first before you get in that area. And then apparently there's an NPC that will, I guess, launch an arrow or something at him and make the dragon fall. And I never actually met the NPC. I don't know where the NPC is. I'm sure I could look it up and be like, oh, there he is, and then go there. But where I left off, that's where I left off, where I was about to look for that NPC and so that I could fight this dragon. I just didn't. I got caught up with other games on the Switch, and I want to go back and play it, but eventually, because I want to. I mean, I platinumed the game on PS3. I should at least finish the DLC.
Yeah.
So,
sippy.
So, while I'm just talking about the Souls games, now I got into them. Dark Souls 2, I played. I think I got it when it came out and didn't play it for a little while. I forget when exactly I played it, and I platinumed that. And I got I got Dark Souls 3 after the DLC expansion physical reprint came out, I think on the PS4. I just haven't played it yet because at the time I was playing other stuff. And I also platinumed Bloodborne, and now Elden Ring is out, and I'm like, I'm playing Horizon Forbidden West, and I would really like to play Dark Souls 3 before I play Elden Ring because I don't, I want to play them almost in release order.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to play Elden Ring, get spoiled by how amazing it probably is, and then be like, okay, Dark Souls 3, which I hear is also amazing. So, you know what? I don't know. The problem is I don't have time. I'm slugging and chugging through why does that sound weird? I'm slugging and chugging through Forbidden West.
I'm punching through guys while drinking milk.
I have been saving videos so as I'm playing and some glitch will happen, I'll press the button and save a video. And there's a whole bunch of them that I'm hoping I'll be able to upload, and I'm hoping it actually captured them. But the biggest one was I went back to this main base you go to at one point in the game. There's a base that the characters go back to, and I walk up to the door and open the door, and it's just there's nothing. The game didn't load the inside of the base, so there's no floor. I'm like, what is this? And I walk in and I just fall. It's this endless pit. Well, not endless. Eventually, I just died. But it was so funny. I'm just
step into the void.
Yeah, step into the void. Step into the void. But yeah, there's been some other funny glitches too. I was thinking of creating a playlist called Horizon Forbidden Glitch, but I already have a playlist of glitch stuff in games that I've uploaded that no one ever really watches, but there's a few videos in there. There was another glitch where I was in a town area. These NPCs, or this one NPC was throwing these spears, or throwing one spear, and he would go back to it and get it again, and it wouldn't do damage because I guess he was just training or something, but I don't know if it didn't load properly where he was throwing it. I don't know if he was supposed to throw it at a wall, but he was throwing it outwards, and it would just freeze in the air. And it would it was freezing next to this other NPC, so it looked like he was throwing a spear at another NPC who was just standing there like normal because they're just an NPC with a spear stuck in their head because the spear is frozen in the air. I don't think it's frozen because it hit the NPC, but because it was probably animated to stop at a certain distance. That's my guess. So it just lined up so that he was throwing this spear at this NPC's head. There was another glitch where I killed these hostile enemies, humans, and I did it from a distance. So when I actually walked up, I saw one of them who died in a fighting pose. So they're just like in a frozen fighting pose, dead. And then I just looted the body, and I was like, wow. And there's just like a number of funny little glitches here and there. They're not game breaking, nothing like the one where the floor didn't load, but I mean, I guess auto saved, it loaded me right before it anyway. Actually, it loaded me in the base. So as I fell through this baseless base and died, it loaded me back inside. The base loaded up. So I was like, oh, okay. But it was just funny.
There have been some funny glitches in Legends Arceus too. Kind of like what you said, not game breaking, but just kind of random. Like I was fighting a Hippowdon and he had climbed up on the side of a rock, and he had literally gotten so far off the ground, and like because it's just a straight up rock, like almost like a stalactite or is it stalagmite? Stalagmite. I think they're on the ground, but he was just kind of standing on the edge, and he was hovering so far off the ground. Huh?
Thanks to Pokemon, I mix up stalactite and stalagmite.
Yeah. I think it is stalagmite. I think stalactite sang from the ceiling. Anyway, he was off the side of the rock, and of course, like it's just tall and pointy, so there was nothing for him to really step on. So he's floating in the air, and he's high up enough, I literally can walk under him completely without touching him. And it was hilarious. And then there was a battle with Akari, and I went up to talk to her and do the battle. And for a split second, it switched to her screen, to her, like her front facing screen, and her hair just goes for a split second, just like flips up and then flips back down. I was like, okay. So I think
you're not centered, or no. So maybe it's no, sir. My chat window was up, so I didn't see your hand. I thought your hand went, like I didn't see your hand go off the screen, unless maybe because I cropped. I don't know if it picked up your hand. So put your hand closer to your head, like.
But it just basically was kind of like. And then just like flip down and then flip back. It was weird. I'll upload it to Twitter so you guys can see it.
Okay. I saw a glitch for Legends Arceus where somebody was running around a character, and as they were running around them, something in the back, like somebody's bow tie on an NPC in the background, every time as they were walking around the character in the foreground, the bow tie on the character in the background kept getting bigger and bigger.
What?
I was like, what is this? To the point where it was like taking up the entire screen. There's this huge bow. I'm like, how does this happen? Amazing.
That is so cool.
I don't even understand the coding behind that. Like, why would you walking around circling one NPC affect how would that affect one particular part of a character model in the background?
Yeah.
Like I don't understand. Like I can understand like falling through the floor because it didn't load properly.
Yeah.
But like I don't understand walking around person A causes person B in the background, like a part of them, to just keep expanding. Like I don't get it.
Yeah, that's weird. But there have been some funny glitches for sure. And like I said, sometimes the grass will be like this, all of a sudden it goes, and it'll flow, and then it just jumps back, and it's just. But it's weird. There's some visual glitches, especially with the grass. That's like the biggest one I've noticed is the grass. Sometimes will just like completely like freak out and just like start twitching. But besides that, like I said, it's been a fun game. And if that's the worst that I have to deal with, it's great because it's still a fun game. And of course, it doesn't excuse shoddy graphics, but at the same time, if it's a fun game with shoddy graphics, that beats a great game with a greatly graphic game, beautiful game with crap story, whatever, like Cyberpunk and all that turned out to be. So yeah, I'll take Legends Arceus over stuff like that any day. But yeah, it's just funny seeing those random little glitches in games like that sometimes. That don't break the game. So
yeah, non-game breaking glitches that don't really affect the gameplay are funny, but the ones that do are really annoying. There was a glitch that could have been game breaking, but winded up being fine. There was an NPC that was just standing around, and in Horizon they have these green exclamation marks to show that there's a quest. but this guy wouldn't talk. Like, there was no button to talk to him. And he was just standing on a cliffside, just standing there. Like, as if he was ready to fight. Like, he was just kind of moving a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually I encountered him in a different part of the map where it started an event. And then I think the characters walked there. Like, me, him, and another character walked to that place where I initially found him. So I'm like, did the game try to load the event or part of the event before I actually started it? So the game was trying to tell me, hey, talk to this guy to start this event, but don't talk to him here because he's not supposed to be here. And what makes me think that happened was I finished a different side quest with these characters, and sometimes you can initiate these cutscenes talking to characters after a side quest or after a quest. There's like a little exclamation mark in a like white word balloon above their head to show, hey, you can interact with them for something unique, I guess. And so after I finished the cutscene in this different part of the map, after I finished the quest in this different part of the map, the two were standing there and it had the word balloons on them, I guess to show you have unique dialogue with them now that you finished this quest. But when I tried to talk to them, it wouldn't initiate any unique dialogue. So I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. And then when I went back to the town, they were there, and then I was able to talk to them. I'm like, why would they show me the word balloon now if I can't interact with that? Like, why can't it wait for me to get back to the town? So it's just like little odd things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And something else, one of the gears that unlocked a part of the exploration, if you encounter it on the map, it shows an icon to show, like, either this is the item you need or this is the obstacle. But there's like a marker on the map or an item on the map or whatever you would call it. Not compass, but key, whatever. There's a symbol on the map to show, like, that you need to use this item here. So as I was exploring, I was going back to all these places to use the items to finish up exploring those areas. And one of them, after I did it, I don't think the symbol went away, or if it did, it came back. So the symbol is there on the map in this one part, and I go back and I'm like, I can't use it because I already used it here. Like, the equivalent would be, imagine you're playing Zelda again, and there are walls that you can break with bombs, but you don't have the bombs yet. So when you come next to a wall, there's a symbol that says bomb, and then you're like, okay, I gotta remember I could bomb this wall later, right? So I wind up going back, bombing the wall, getting the loot behind the wall. I leave, and then on the map, it still has the bomb symbol, like, hey, you could still bomb this wall. And I go back, and I'm like, the wall's already broken, so I can't bomb. There's nothing to bomb, but it's telling me I still have to bomb something. So I'm like, I hope there's no, like, trophy or something that's gonna look at that and say, well, you're not gonna get the I did all of this, used all the gears because this symbol is still on the map, but you can't do it because you already did it. Like, I'm hoping there's not that I'm actively pursuing platinum, but like, the fact that I couldn't if I wanted to, if that prevented it, would bother me. But yeah, Horizon Forbidden Glitch is really fun. I got a load of titles to use today. I don't remember them all, but anyway, I started off saying what I've been up to, and I just started talking about games, and then glitches in games. So, is there any other games that are out right now, or any gaming news that you want to talk about while we still have a little bit of time left?
I know we were talking about beforehand, because I was talking to Drew. I was like, I really haven't. There's nothing really that to me has notably come out about gaming besides Kirby and the Forgotten Land, and I'm not really interested in that. I know that in a couple weeks when we get back into the routine and we start having guests again, that Knit Ice will definitely want to talk about this. So this will give him some time to complete the game. So I know that, dude, you'll want to talk about it for sure, and we'll be captive audience, obviously.
I want to play it too, so I wouldn't want spoilers, but I'm just so far behind on games right now that I don't know when I would ideally play it.
Yeah, I don't really have the desire to play it. I might eventually, but my backlog's so big already, and I'm not like... I like Kirby, but I don't feel like I like it enough to just dump $60 on a game I'm not sure of right away. but it is a platformer like Odyssey, so then I might like it. So I don't know. I'm torn. But like I said, my backlog's already insanely long as it is. But that's the only game that I can really think of, besides, of course, Elden Ring. But I mean, that's like a month old now, where that's come out lately that I know of. Well, I think there's been some like limited runs, like River City Girls ReZero or something, some different other games like that. But I don't know that they've actually released. They've just been announced for, development stuff. But
is it a prequel? Is it a prequel?
There's one that's a prequel, and then they're also doing the sequel to it. So I might get the sequel. That's one game on my to finish list is the first game, and I really enjoyed it. Kyoko's great, but Kyoko's the best of the two. But yeah, I like it. I just need to go back and play it. And it's funny because I'm not a beat 'em up guy at all, but I really had fun with it. And of course, it's way forward, so the humor is amazing. And like I said, Kyoko's the best. One of her attacks is a rainbow dab, so that's just perfect. But yeah, she literally dabs on her image. She literally just goes douche, and there's like a rainbow particle effect behind her. It's amazing. It's one of my favorite moves to style on people with. But yeah, it's a fun game. I just need to go back and play it. But yeah, and it's cool because once you beat the game, you actually unlock more characters. So, and I think those same characters will be playable in the sequel, along with some other characters from the first game. So that'll be cool. So, like I said, I just need to finish this game so I know who those characters are. So yeah. But
right. Okay, cool. I think I ordered some limited run games, but I don't know when I'm going to get them. I don't even know if they're done printing yet. Oh, I did get I don't remember when I ordered this, months ago, maybe last year. Well, months ago was last year, right? But I ordered Mega Man The Wily Wars, which I don't think it ever came to America on Sega Genesis cartridge. But I got it for Sega Genesis because Limited Run printed it for Sega Genesis. And I got the collector's edition that came in a nice box. And the glass or hard plastic that it came in was cracked on the shoulder. So I sent it. So they sent me a new one, and I sent the old one back, and everything turned out fine. Kudos to Limited Run for helping me with that. I don't know how it got cracked in the first place, but things happen, As long as
FedEx FedEx.
It got remedied, so thank you, Limited, for helping me with that. Nothing against Limited, that was awesome. It was just disappointing when I first opened it and saw the crack, and I was like, man, now I got to go through the process of reaching out to a company and getting this replaced, but. So yeah, I mean, I haven't played it because my Sega Genesis is at my parents' house and it's in storage somewhere in their house in a bin, and I have played the game before, but now I actually own it, so that's cool. I'm hoping it works because I can't test it to see if it works. I mean, I'm assuming it works. Maybe this was just like a once in a lifetime thing, but there was a moment where. Back in college, I ordered the complete series of Powerpuff Girls, and I was testing the DVDs to make sure they worked because I'm just very particular, and I'm so glad I did because one of them didn't work. And ever since, and then I returned it, got a new one, and I checked and they all worked. And I actually rewatched the series, I believe, and everything was fine. But because of that, I'm like. I always got to check to make sure things work now. Even if I'm not going to play it right away or watch it right away, whatever it is, I got to check to make sure because if when the time comes for me to watch or play it, I might not be able to return it and get a new one.
That is true. I need to do that. So there's several games that are on my to-play list that I've opened the plastic wrap and I've looked at. I'm like, oh, cool. Closed it back up and put it on the shelf to play later.
I still have games I didn't pop in to check if they worked, and I hope they do. I was going somewhere with part of my conversation and skewed into the Mega Man Wily Wars conversation. Limited Run. We were talking about Limited Run. What else did they? Some stuff they printed. I bought.
I had actually pre-ordered a Shantae T-shirt months.
Nice.
Was it October, November, something like that? It was the It was the really cool looking sepia toned one where it's got her and then her
Oh,
monkey, her harpy, and her mermaid forms, and maybe the spider. I know it's those three, maybe the spider too, but it's her and it says like Shantae or something like that. And I was like, that looks nice. I might eventually get the fan gamer one that's like a turquoise with like the palm tree and her sitting on the palm tree or whatever. I might get that one eventually, but and I'm really tempted to get that vinyl just because of the amazing art on that thing inside and out. Like it's because on the outside it's where Roddy, Risky, Shantae, and Sky are playing in the band, and then you open it up and it's Shantae with her headphones on, jamming out to some music with her legs crossed on her bed. And I was like, that is such good artwork, but I could literally just look that up on Google, but for free.
yeah.
But it's not there. But yeah, I pre-ordered that shirt months ago, and hadn't heard anything about it, hadn't gotten an email about anything, so I don't know if they're printed yet. I'm not sure. So I know there's several months out of printing, the pre-orders are several months ahead, so they can print to order and stuff. So maybe they're about to ship. I don't know. I mean, it took me several months. I pre-ordered two Funko sodas back in August, and they're just now shipping out. Never buy from Big Apple Collectibles. So,
are you gonna drink them?
No, they're figures. They come in little soda. That's what these are right here. Let me grab my Godzilla one. But they're called sodas, and they're kind of like the pops, but they come in soda cans, and so they're little figures.
How do you
they're
open
vinyl
them?
figures, just like sodas or just like pops are. They just
How do you open them?
like a soda can. Hold on. So they have a lid, and then they have like plastic wrap inside, and then
is there
the character.
a figure in there?
Yeah, the figure. My Godzilla's over there on the shelf. But do I have any
interesting.
sodas? I don't have any sodas that I could reach without knocking everything down.
I wonder why they switched from box to soda can. Maybe
it honestly is
takes
one
up
of the
less room?
few good things that Funko has done in the last couple of years that has stuck, and that they've just run with. Because Dorbs failed, and there's a couple other ones I think Popsies
What
are going to
failed?
kind of bomb. But yeah, sodas are
what
great.
failed?
Dorbs are you can't give them away.
About.
My buddy he sold a bunch of pops and some Overwatch and stuff, and got some money back for one of the game shops in our area, and he had a Dorbs, I think it was a Tokyo Ghoul character, and they literally get back to him, it's like, we can't take this, we can't sell these. So it's like, dang, that's bad. Literally, you cannot give them away. So as we were leaving, he just sat on the top of one of the food court booths, and he was like, if someone gets it, cool, I made their day. So it's like, he's like,
Wait,
no,
why did
we
he
go
get
see
one
it's
to
gone.
begin with?
Huh?
Why did he get one? I don't understand.
He got it years ago, and then he just was trying to purge his collection for stuff that he wanted, and he was going to try and sell it. So he was able to make about $45 off of the pops he sold. So I mean, it's the Overwatch ones; they're super common, so you can't hardly.
Who buys them?
It was a local. It's called Player's Choice. They're down in Myrtle Beach too, and they've got comics, games, pops, they've got Dungeons and Dragons D20 dice. They've got figures. They've got plushes. Dude, they have it literally is like Nerdvana in there. It is so cool. There's so much nerdy stuff.
Talking about like soda cans, this wasn't soda, but I got this limited edition Sonic G Fuel.
Cool, dude.
And I was like, this can is really cool. I cleaned it out. I drank it, and I was like, afterwards. Because it has 300 milligrams of caffeine per 16 fluid ounces.
Holy crap.
And the serving size is 1 can. So I'm assuming, and this is amounts per serving, so I'm assuming this whole can has 300 milligrams. It tasted good, though. I mean, I'm not sponsored or anything.
Did it taste like Sonic?
Yeah, this has nothing to do with a sponsorship or anything, but I just saw it in the store, and I was like, I've never had G Fuel. This,
you saw it in.
I'd love to display this.
They actually had G Fuel in store. What store?
It was Walmart.
Maybe it's up north, because here in North Carolina, I have never seen G Fuel anywhere except like A Drive and other sponsors videos. I've never seen G Fuel in store.
It was Peach Rings flavor. Peach Rings.
Rings. That's cool.
I don't know if the video is mirroring it, but
I saw it.
I have I was thinking about displaying it, and I have these right here. I have this Mecha Sonic figure that I think Jax made. So I had to get it because there's no merchandise of this character. I don't think there is. And then
so that's Mecha Sonic, not Metal Sonic.
Right.
Gotcha.
There's like 3 or 4 different models of Mecha Sonic throughout the games. And then I was like, well, I'm going to collect all the Mecha Sonics. And so I got Metal Sonic, even though he's not a mecha, but he's Metal Sonic. And those are the only 2 that they have. So where I have them displayed, I have them standing. His legs were like all messed up from the plastic, but I put him in this pose and it looks fine. And then behind them is the can. So so they're standing in front of the can.
Sweet. Now, I've always wondered this because I don't know because I'm not a Sonic fan. Does Metal Sonic talk? Is he able to talk?
Except
I
for
didn't
when
think
he
he
transforms into Neo Metal Sonic. Then he could talk for some reason, but I don't think he has a mouth, but he could still talk.
Okay, I didn't think he did because I'd never heard any voice clips and I had never seen anyone post any clips of him. So I was just curious, but so I take it Neo Metal Sonic is like his supersonic form.
It's a transformation he takes on somehow. They've never explained how he got upgraded to that form. I was under the assumption that he got that form by absorbing data from Chaos, but other things seem to hint that he needed Chaos's data after he took that form. So it sounds like Eggman just upgraded him to that form, or he was upgraded to that form somehow. And after he lost and left, after he lost in the game, then he turned back to normal.
Interesting. Okay.
So, but yeah.
And at that time, was he like talking in speech bubbles, or was it actually like dialogue? Was it actually like
no,
verbalized?
it was dialogue.
It was audio? Okay.
It had like a deep voice. Deep metallic voice.
Okay.
I just remember this scene, this really awesome scene towards the end where he's standing on the top of a tower and he's like, all living things kneel before your master. And he like raises his hand and lightning strikes and he starts like the tower like gets destroyed and then everything starts, all the pieces start swirling around and I think they start attaching to him or he just transforms and he turns into this giant dragon, which everybody thinks is dumb, but I thought was pretty cool. It was called Metal Madness, and then he transformed further, and you had to fight him as Supersonic into Metal Overlord.
Ooh.
So everybody thinks it's dumb, and I thought it was cool.
That sounds dope.
Yeah. So. And the last thing I want to say, because I was going to say it before when I was talking about Limited Run, and then I remember what I was saying, was they announced a while back that they were remastering Chrono Cross. So we're not getting a physical copy in the States, but my friend sent me a link to Play Asia. They have a physical copy in Japan that has English dialogue. So I'm like, well, I got to get my physical copy. So I ordered... I pre-ordered it from Play Asia. Mm-hmm. My only issue with that is last time I did that, I don't have it in front of me, but the on the spine of the game, the text was in Japanese, and I'm like, it bothers me because if I put it on a shelf, I won't know what game it is. I mean, I know because it's the only Japanese game, but like, I have Chrono Trigger DS. And for the longest time, I was like, I hope we get a reprint of Chrono Cross that could line the two up. Now, that's the case, but if the spine is in Japanese, it'll say Chrono Trigger DS and Japanese.
Arigato-san. Yeah.
Chrono Cross Radical Dreams Edition. I don't know if
that sounded more right. Japanese than what I said. I was like, goodbye, son. Arigato-san.
But anyway, it's getting late. I think that's good for now. I don't want to run for 3 hours, and
I got some spaghetti to eat.
Yeah, I got some food to eat too. I can smell it.
What's supper tonight for you?
I don't know. So I guess we'll
surprises are always good.
So I guess that's it. Nobody joined, but that's okay.
Yep.
We'll watch in post, and we will try again to do this on a week from now. So,
Monday, Tuesday is usually what we're trying to shoot for. Sometimes the weekend, it just depends. So
yeah. And I may or may not keep up with putting in timestamps in the video. Sometimes I just don't have the time to sit there and listen again and be like, oh, what time did I say that? You know,
Yeah.
And it's just sometimes I just want to like just enjoy listening to it, because I notice an issue where like, oh, this is when I start talking about this, and then like a minute later we tangent onto something else, and I'm like, oh, this part now, and then like after that I go back to it and I'm like this continued. And I'm like, it's not very streamlined to break into it's not like some podcasts, or one in particular that I've listened to, they have news segments, so they break it up, you know, like, okay, this next news story, blah blah blah, and then they have their conversations, however much it may tangent, it's still part of that overall topic. We don't really do that, so it's like I don't know if it's really necessary. I don't know.
We're more freeform. We're more
right.
Yeah.
At least for now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that'll ever change. It could change. It's nothing is hard set in stone right now, and especially now that we're re-exploring live. Everything changes up. I used to have the theme play in the beginning and into us talking, and then I started to put background music. And if we're doing live, I don't know if I'm going to do that. So.
And again, it saves time. It makes it easier to see it real fast afterwards.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about editing and uploading it 3 days after we record. So I think it'll definitely be better in the long run. So
the only other thing is in the description where I say like, oh, what we talked about today. I don't remember after the fact, so I would have to listen to it again just to be like all the games we talked about. And I'm almost like hesitant to be like, do I have to say what today's topics were? Like, I don't know. I feel like if I was listening to a show, I would be like, yeah, I want to know that, so I know what I'm going to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I'm like, we're just kind of like talking.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I guess you guys can let me know what you like, just so I get some
And this
feedback.
and definitely topics and stuff will evolve as we get more guests on and we get more people in the chat, because then we'll be interacting with more people besides just you and me. So that'll definitely help a lot with, you know, changing topics and staying on topic and stuff like that. So I think it'll just be more. I like more organic conversations anyway. I feel like if you do bullet points, it's just kind of everybody does that. So it's like there's nothing special about watching us if we just do the same thing Game Explain or whoever does. And it's like everybody has their own niche. Everybody has their own, you know, personalities and stuff that they can really hone in on in a certain situation or a certain kind of video. And so that's me. I like more freeform stuff and more discussion type stuff anyway. So this kind of stuff where it's just kind of, let's just talk about stuff. Let's not really bullet point stuff, because it does get kind of boring if it's just kind of, you know, bam, 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 we're done. So, but yeah,
and then
I like stuff
on
like
the
this.
contrary, it gets difficult to edit in chapter points when the conversation is so freeform. I noticed we talked about something for like a minute and then went back to the previous thing, and I'm like, I guess I'll just throw in this marker here to say like this game, and then after like a minute, it's like the previous one continued. Like, just for example, we'll have a chunk of Super Smash Bros. And then like a minute, because maybe we tangent to talking about like swords from Kingdom Hearts, and then start talking about Kingdom Hearts for a couple minutes, and then go back into. So then I put like a Kingdom Hearts mark, and then it's like Super Smash Bros. Continued. And looking back, I'm like, I don't really like the way that looks, but. Yeah. So
or maybe just list the stuff we talk about, like certain games, certain topics and stuff like that. Like the zoo, Horizon Forbidden West and all that stuff. So maybe just like what we talked about, not necessarily the order.
That would be easier. It would still require me to re-listen to it all again, but I mean, that might be unavoidable, but at least I won't have to keep stopping and putting in timestamps. I could just put in like, these are the topics we talked about. If anything, I could break it up into the 0 marker where the show says starting soon, then put a marker where it actually starts, and then a marker at the end, which might only be less than a minute anyway. It might not even be worth putting the end, but just to kind of show this is when we start talking, so people don't have to search through the video. But anyway, it's gotten late, and I want to eat before it gets too late, and I'm sure you want to eat before it gets too late.
Yes.
And that's it. All right. All right, everyone. Take care. Hopefully, we will see you next week. Hopefully, nothing comes up like a power outage or allergies again.
Hopefully.
Or anything else. And if something comes up, hopefully it's something as small as allergies or a power outage.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway, I guess that's it, guys. See you next week, I hope.
Yep.
Bye-bye.